Well, Smaral's talking to TI and with Black Film and TV. So this is your first sci-fi film, from what I can imagine. What went into saying yes to taking on this project?
I mean, aside from the illustrious cast and the writer director Paul Anderson from Resident Evil and other video adaptations, like even like the first Mortal Kombat, I think he said he did. I just, I actually consulted with my youngest son, man. I asked Major, you know what I'm saying? He's the gamer of the family. So when I found out, it was a video game adaptation, I said, hey, Major, you heard of this game? He said, yeah. So I said, man, what should I do? He said, you should do it. So that plus Milla Jovovich, Meagan Good, the rest of the cast, they got me out to Tankwa, South Africa.
So let me ask you, before we talk about South Africa, when you do these movies, when a movie like this, obviously, at least according to the trailer, not spoiling anything, not everybody's going to make it out alive. So, we know how brothers are in these type of movies. Did you read the script to see, okay, where am I in the movie?
Man, you don't think about that kind of stuff when you taking a role. I don't. I've never thought about that. It never really meant anything to me. I only wanted to, make the greatest contribution I could to the story. Where the person dies in the film, I've seen great movies with, characters I remember for the whole film because, even though they didn't last through the whole movie. So I've never thought about it like that, as long as you pay me like I was in the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? But we can't discuss the fate of any characters right now. You know what I'm saying? We
good
can't
answer. You got a good answer. So now let's talk about shooting in South Africa. Obviously, I'm not sure if you've been there before, but what was that experience like?
Man, now that we talked about the first part, I ain't even seen the movie yet. So how far did I make it? What you think? What you trying to say here, mister?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I wasn't shooting in South Africa.
You say, what was it like to shoot in South Africa?
Yeah.
It was dope, man. It was, you know what I'm saying, some extreme conditions, but it was worth it because you can't replicate that kind of exterior, you know what I mean? The terrain that we were filming on, it went from one extreme to the next. So it was phenomenal to experience that.
And then you have a cast of well-experienced actors, including yourself. What was it like? Milla, Jen, Meagan, what was that camaraderie like as you were shooting this movie?
Well, we were in the middle of nowhere together. All we had was us. You know what I mean? So we kind of, we ate at the same time every day, you know what I'm saying? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know what I mean? When we decided to drink, we drank with each other, you know what I'm saying? We kind of, that shit was real, you know what I mean? That shit felt like a mission for real, you know what I mean? So I think that it came off great on screen because we were really pretty close together.
Now this is a different type of action film. So like for you physically, did you have to do anything differently? Did you gain weight, lose weight? Did you exercise more?
No, not really. It was some tactical and weapons training. But I think that it was like, we had like gear on most of the time. It wouldn't have mattered what I looked like. I ain't have to really, but see, let's not get into that because you're trying to tell the fate of you trying to tell the outcome of the movie.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking, just how you were, did you get in shape for the films? And, they gotta, because people like to do their own stunts, so they do things differently.
We did our own stunts. I think that for the most part, the only thing that it's more mental preparation, I guess I should say. More mental preparation, more, man, we gonna be out in the middle of nowhere. You need to sleep in a tent. There's big hairy ass spiders out there, like actually committing myself to that was more preparation.
Now you've worked with a lot of directors, on video, on different projects, TV and film. What did you get from working with Paul that you can take on to your next project and helps you out with the acting skill set?
I mean, man, Paul is a phenomenal director, and what's most important is he knows what he expects from the actors. You know, he knows the performance that he wants to get from the actor. If a director don't really know what he's looking for, he just gonna have you doing a bunch of different shit, and you know, a lot of times they just throwing darts at the wall. But you know, Paul was like real meticulous and direct with what he felt like the performance was supposed to feel like, and that helped me, you know, as an actor.
Now you got a bunch of projects that's hit some milestones and it's coming up. Obviously, you know, there's been talk of an ATL2. Where are we with that project?
I mean, I think that's, you know, it's on hold, waiting on Lauren. I think the whole cast is ready, you know what I mean, everybody. And whenever Lauren's ready to play Nunu, then, you know what I'm saying, I think we can put it together. And we also, you know, have to get a script together.
And then so at the same time, this is the 10th anniversary of the Takers release. You know, and I always, every time I saw because you got to do a prequel. The prequel would have been starring you as far as how did that all come about? Hey, throughout this pandemic, everything old is new again. Can you go back and do something like that?
Me and Will have a whole episode of Expeditiously where we talking about how we can do the Takers prequel or sequel. And, you know, I think everything on the table. We'll see what happens.
Now, are you coming back for the AntMan franchise?
If they call, you know what I'm saying? I haven't heard no dates for real. I haven't, you know, I don't think any of the what is it, the entourage, I don't think any of us have been contacted yet. So we'll just see what happens.
What goes into saying yes to the projects you take?
The story. It's all in the script. You know what I mean? What's the story that it's telling? You know, who is it speaking to? You know, I think that's, you know, that's the first priority, the story. But that's why we are doing it. Everybody showing up, whether it's the cast, the crew, the grips, everybody showing up because we committed to this story. You know what I mean? So what is that story, and does it deserve this level of commitment?
And then, you know, this is the second film we've seen you in this year. You did Cutthroat City earlier, you know, that came out, had a whole big cast in there. How much fun it was working with that entourage? Because it's a lot of you guys.
That was great. That was great, man. Working with RZA, Shamik, and Terrence Howard, the rest of the guys, Demetrius Shipp, Cat Graham, you know, Wesley Snipes. Like it was a phenomenal cast and masterfully directed.
And then going back to obviously Monster Hunter, you know, this is a big action film. Obviously, as I saw it and I'm watching it at home, I also thought that this also deserves some big screen treatment because there's a lot of big scenes in this movie. You know, for everybody, you know, and we're all going to be home for the most part during the holidays. What's a good reason to catch this? Because there's a lot of options that we're getting, whether it's streaming channels or network TV. There's a lot that's being thrown at us. What's a good reason to see this one?
Man, I think that, you know, it's probably the most radical video game adaptation, you know what I mean, in years. You know, I think that this really brings the idea of the concept from that video game. It really brings it to life, and a lot went into it. And, you know, I think all of our hard work, all our efforts, energy, pain, and suffering for your benefit. You know what I'm saying? So don't let that go to waste.
I appreciate talking to you. Obviously, at some point or another, we'll meet each other face to face. But in the meantime, stay safe. Have a great holiday. We'll talk down the road.
Likewise, bro. Take it easy.